Hi, and welcome back to Healthcare Simplified with Manvir Victor. Is another great episode we hope for you as we break down the silos in healthcare and at the same time we look at what is relevant to you. So today I have great guests in the studio with us, and we are going to unpack for you this brand new concept called healthcare financing, which can impact your life. And how do we do that? Well, we will find out from the founder and CEO of Amden Capital. Hi and good morning, Ranjit.
Good morning, Manvir. Thank you for having us.
Thank you for being here with us. And we have with us here the relationship manager from Amden Capital as well, Emerilda Sani. Hi, Emma. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you, Manvir. Thank you to invite us here today.
No problem. It is my pleasure. Because I think that in the past few months, about a year ago, I think, Ranjit, you and I met, right?
Yes,
and you were telling me about this healthcare financing company that you had just set up. It blew my mind. So let's blow everybody else's mind at the same time right here, because yours, correct me if I'm wrong, is the first of its kind in Southeast Asia. Am I right?
That we are.
Okay, absolutely. So tell me, what is this healthcare financing that Amden Capital does?
First and foremost, Manvir, when you apply for when you buy a car,
right,
you get a car loan, right?
Absolutely.
So it's structured according to that.
Right.
Now, as for healthcare, when you are ill, your parent is unwell, you need not all procedures are covered by insurance.
Sure.
Or there's shortfall.
Right.
That's where we come in. We provide the financing needed,
Right.
and we structure it according to procedure.
So you structure it according to procedure. What is this procedure that you structure it according to?
It can be anything. It can be from bariatric surgery, which we are. For bariatric surgery, I should mention, we are the number one bariatric surgery financing provider in the country.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So
Right.
7 out of 10 baria surgery financing comes through us.
Okay, and bariatric surgery is for people who want
Who
to
are obese,
shrink
morbidly
this,
obese, then they really need to go for medical reasons.
Right.
That's the surgery. So we cover maternity, reconstructive, even medical equipment
Right.
for consumers.
Right.
We cover that. So it's a very wide range
Okay.
that we cover.
Now, Ranjit, this is not a normal business.
No, it's not.
It's not. I mean, financing is obviously it's a huge business, but this is not a normal area for someone to go into. How did this brainwave suddenly hit you?
Okay. I left Deutsche Bank in '99.
Okay.
Right. Some 25 years back. And somewhere in 2014, after leaving Deutsche, I went into consumer financing business.
Okay.
Right.
Right.
So in 2014, we started to notice an uptick
Okay.
in medical-related loans coming in.
Okay.
And that went on. In 2018, I got my team to go out there and see what's happening.
Right.
Why are these needs not being met?
Okay.
So after about 2 years, we came to a conclusion. Simply, the medical fraternity and the financial institutions were not talking. They were not communicating.
Of course. Yeah. We've
Yeah,
seen
and
that
that-
happen.
we see that happen very
Yeah,
often,
yeah,
right?
We
Yeah.
do. We do.
So hence, we converted Amden Capital into a pure medical financing institution.
Okay. And are they, I mean, so the rules of financing are still followed then?
Very much so. In fact, we go above and beyond the guidelines set by Bank Negara.
Okay.
We've got a dotted line reporting to them.
Right.
They've got something called responsible lending policies or guidelines.
Sure.
We go above and beyond that as well.
Right.
Because I think the central bank is very responsible. They do not want people to overexpose themselves.
Okay. Right.
Take on too much of a loan,
Right.
which they can't service.
Right.
So we follow that very, very closely.
Right. Okay, great. And now, so I want to just pivot to Emma here. And, so we've heard the brass tacks of the business, right? How it works and what it does and the lending of the money and so on and so forth. But there are people at the end of this. There are absolute people who are in need. So maybe as a relationship manager, you deal with a lot of this, loan applications, you deal with hospitals. So you understand both sides of that equation. Maybe you can just share with us, what is the journey of the people who need this help and why do they need it? What kind of situations do they need it in?
The best I could share with you is perhaps like for the bariatric procedure. Okay, let's say first step is when they go to the hospital, they go and see the consultants. And then when the consultants find out that they might need in terms of the medical financing, so they will refer the client, the patient, to Amden. So the patient will contact us. And then after that, Amden will liaise with the patient to ask perhaps the basic qualification that they could qualify for the financing. So that is the first step. So from there, we can go through their documentation and all. We can find out whether they are eligible for the financing. So the best about what we do is pre-approval is within 1 day.
Oh, within 1 day? That's the fastest?
Yes.
Oh, wow, okay. That's very interesting,
And then upon signing agreement, another 1 or 2 days, we can already disperse to the hospital. So this is the basic journey for the application.
So the dispensation of the funds goes directly to the hospital?
Yes.
So then the patient can literally just go in and get the surgery, the procedure done.
Actually, we will disperse to the hospital before the procedure happen. At least minimum 2 days before the procedures happens. And once we do that, up to 5 years, the patient will pay to us according to their choices of savings or current account. So up to 5 years.
Up to 5 years. So can you tell me, from a human perspective, the patients that are in need of this financing, why do they come to you guys? What are the situations? And I'm sure there have been great success stories, because I've heard from Ranjit a couple of times, for instance, for IVF or bariatric surgery that has actually helped people not only raise their self-esteem and their confidence, but enable them to be able to do something like maybe having children or something like that. Tell me about it.
So success that we can say, success story, if we manage to give the financing to them, we could say that we make their life change, boost their self-esteem, especially like if they're having the problem in terms of obesity when they did the bariatric, and perhaps if the IVF for the couples, they manage to get a child for that matters, right? So why they come to us? Because there are many reasons. For what had happened now after COVID, we know at least some people they have the money. But it is better to save to use for something else more emergency. So with us, they can plan. It's like a monthly planning. So it will ease their mind to really get something that they need.
Absolutely. So from your end, from a business perspective, Ranjit, where is that gap that people are coming to you? You've looked at it, you've done your research, and you've found this huge gap. So obviously, insurance doesn't cover a lot of these procedures, and you guys have stepped in, right?
Insurance is a whole topic that we can cover now.
Absolutely. It's a hot topic right now.
It is.
It's a hot topic right now. But so insurance is not covering this, and you guys are able to step in. What are the procedures that you guys cover in total? Do you know?
For now, for medical procedures, we cover everything. For oncology, we only cover diagnostics and breast cancer stages 1 and 2.
Stages 1 and 2.
The rest we are still understanding the treatments needed and the risks. So we're doing assessment. To put it simply, we are humanizing the need for, as far as financing is concerned, for medical.
Sure.
We don't want to treat our clients like like just an account number
Okay.
or number.
Right.
We want to understand what they're doing, why they're doing,
Okay.
and see how we can come in and try and manage the whole situation by giving them the financing that's needed.
Okay. There are obviously a huge number of procedures that are available under insurance for everyone, right? So these would be outside that sphere of it mostly?
Manvir, I think if we can just backtrack a bit and
Sure.
say insurance is a very hot topic right now. Say you do a procedure, right?
Right.
For example, total knee replacement.
Okay.
We're just going to give a figure. Let's say if you do it the normal surgery, it's what, say 25,000.
Right.
Robotics, let's just set a figure. Maybe it's about $40,000.
Okay.
So robotics are usually not covered by insurance. That's where we come in.
Okay.
But there are a lot of benefits of using robotics in a surgery.
Sure.
Right.
Obviously.
So that's where we come in. Also, when you go through a procedure, there's co-payment now.
Okay. Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, that's been a very hot topic. PNM says minimum 5%. There's no cap to it.
Okay.
From what we are seeing right now, it can go as high as 20%.
Okay.
That's just the co-payment part.
Wow.
And then you've got the exclusions from the final bill.
Right.
What is all not excluded from there.
Okay.
So these are the areas that we can come in
Right.
and we can finance.
So how do you calculate that exclusions, because that's a bit open-ended, someone may take a loan for, let's say, 10,000 ringgit, but those exclusions may include up to 12, 15,000 or something like that.
We that's based on the final bill.
Okay.
So that is financed post-procedure.
Okay, you have that as well.
We have that option as well.
Okay, right.
So
right.
they don't want to be owing the hospital, then the hospital.
Of course.
So that's where we come in as well.
Okay.
So we are quite flexible in that sense.
Okay. So, but these in most of these cases, Emma, the patient goes to the hospital. They may or may not know about your existence.
Yes.
And then they speak to the doctor, and I say we need IVF or whatever it is. And then the doctor says, obviously this is not covered by insurance. Can you pay X amount for it? And then they say we don't have cash. So that's where the hospital recommends Amden Capital.
Yes.
To be a part of that conversation, right?
Correct, yes.
And you were saying it's as quick as a day?
Pre-approval.
Pre-approval. Wow, this is absolutely fantastic. So have you had many cases by IVF then?
Lately, we have many inquiries for IVF.
Right.
So that is amazing to know that actually right now, more of our collab partners really working out how to make sure that their patient knows about our services.
Okay.
So perhaps it could help the patient to really get the treatment needed.
Oh,
Yeah, so
wow.
actually that's why we would love to get more collaboration with the hospitals. It's
Right.
easier to really explain to the patient about the services.
Okay.
Easier, yeah.
So, and do you all cover like plastic surgery or what?
Of course.
Of course.
Oh, that's a major.
Oh, is that
That's
major?
Oh, yes.
Right.
Yeah, we do.
Going about plastic surgery is very interesting.
Okay.
I think I mentioned before to you as well, Manvir. Insurance companies, mastectomy they cover.
Mastectomy, yeah, okay.
Yes.
So removal
breast
of breast
cancer,
they cover.
so on.
Correct.
However, reconstruction is not covered
It's not.
because it's considered cosmetic.
By all insurance companies or some?
I think the older policies do not.
Oh, the older policy.
Of now, the applicants that are coming in,
Right.
they say we're not covered
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
because it's considered an
Consider
implant.
it's a
Right. Cosmetic.
cosmetic surgery.
Right.
Yes.
It's necessary though, but yeah.
Yes.
So,
how can they expect?
We do a lot of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Expect the woman doing
To
the
live life.
mastectomy, live
Yes.
life with one breast.
Right.
So
absolutely.
that's how we come in.
That's. I mean,
Yeah.
from a woman's point of view,
of
I know.
course.
Yeah, and I'm sure you've heard women come to you. Tell us about that change, pre-surgery, post-surgery, maybe some of
The
those
best
occasions.
about the mother with 7 kids.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
No, the pre and post.
Yes.
When they usually meet us pre-surgery,
Right.
right?
Yes.
They are very demoralized.
Okay.
Really demoralized. 'Cause they say every morning when I shower, I see myself. I get dressed, I see myself. There's a scar.
Right.
There's a scar down there,
Right.
and the scar is really not a very pretty scar,
Okay.
right? Then post-surgery, about a month after surgery, they are totally different person.
Boost
They are
up their
really boost.
Self-confidence, their self-esteem.
Yes.
It's really amazing.
Right. And you've seen these changes happen from the financing, just the financing of
Yes.
of these procedures that medically may not be necessary, but from a human perspective, extremely important.
Very much
course.
so.
Yes.
Right.
It makes them alive again, Manvir.
Yeah.
They become they feel that we treat them
Happier
like
person.
Yeah.
More confident.
Right.
So because we see them before they take the financing, and after that, sometimes few months after that, they come and see us to tell us about what had happened, how it changed their life by having the financing with us.
Right.
So that's the kind of moment that always, make us feel so good for.
That's why you are in business.
That's why we are there.
That's why you're
that's
in
the main
business.
thing.
Consumer financing is a no-brainer. I've been doing it for the last 25 years.
Right.
I could have just continued doing it. Right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Now with medical financing, the satisfaction it gives you, you go back home, you sleep happy.
Right.
Because you know that you've made a difference to somebody's life. You really, for even bariatric surgery, we had a couple come in. The wife, senior in a very senior position, she came in for bariatric surgery financing.
Right.
They're married for 12 years, they couldn't conceive.
Okay.
So after Baria, her hormones were regulated.
Oh.
And then
Okay.
about less than a year, the husband calls me up.
Yeah.
He said, Mr. Ranjit, I want to tell you something.
Right.
We are expecting our first child in the next 6
Oh, wow.
months. That's amazing, right?
One of
Fantastic.
the amazing
Yeah.
stories that we get.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's one of the many stories that we
Yes.
can
Right.
tell.
Okay.
So that's really amazing. About the post-mastectomy reconstruction.
Right.
There's a single mother. This is a case I remember very well.
Right.
Iman also as well.
Yeah.
When she first met us, it's always sobs.
Right.
There's always sobs, always tears.
Okay.
And she said, "I'm a recluse. I don't go out of my house anymore."
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you
I
lack
remember her,
confidence,
yeah.
right?
Right.
Yes.
And after post-surgery, the doctor says, "Ma, I hardly see you at home nowadays."
Yeah.
She said, "I'm back in the dating scene."
Oh, wow.
Yes,
Single
yes.
mother. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. That's
So
that's great.
the confidence is just amazing, Laman.
Yeah, and I think that ability to be able to help people along to get back into a normal life
Yeah.
is extremely important. Well, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to try to understand the process from the hospital point of view, and why is it hospitals are jumping in to do this with you guys. We're going to be back right here on Healthcare Simplified with Manvir and Victor right after this quick break. Hi, we're back with Healthcare Simplified with Manvir Victor, and we are here in the studios with Ranjit Singh and Emma from Amden Capital. We're unpacking healthcare financing, and earlier we were talking about the business itself, how the core of that business is, and how it impacts the patient. Now, how does this impact or help hospitals deliver the healthcare from your point of view? You've seen. You guys are coming in to step in where there's a gap.
There are many ways. If we know that insurance is
Sure.
a very hot topic right now, certain hospitals were no longer on a panel of certain insurance companies.
Absolutely.
And so the GLs, the guarantee letters, were not issued, whereby patients will need to pay first and claim. So that is one of the options that we provide.
Okay.
So hospitals need this
Right.
make sure that the procedure can be done.
Right.
That is one thing. And healthcare costs, a lot of it is not covered by insurance. Not the full amount.
Right.
So that's where we come in as well. Now, Manvir, post-COVID, we've noticed a change in spending habits.
Okay.
Post-COVID, people are keeping their savings.
All right.
Most of our clients earn between 80 to 40,000 ringgit a month individual income.
Right.
So that's our segment. Going by classification is M40 and T20.
Most of your clients are
Most of
M40
my
and
clients are from
T20s.
that segment.
Oh, very interesting.
We do not cover the B40 segment because again, responsible lending doesn't allow us to do that.
Okay.
Right.
Right.
So most of our clients are from the M40 and T20 segment.
Okay.
They are keeping their savings. They want to keep money for their child's education.
Sure.
Right. They want to keep the credit cards for emergency use.
Right.
So they're telling us if we can spread our payments over 5 years,
right,
that's a good option. Because the thing about us is we do a max of 5 years, right? 60 months. Max of 5 years.
60 months.
However, if the patient or the client wants to have an early settlement,
right,
we give you a rebate. We don't penalize you for early settlement.
Oh, you do give a rebate.
So that's the thing about us.
Right.
We don't penalize you for early settlement. We encourage you.
Yeah, absolutely.
We encourage you because you never know when the next medical issue is going to crop up.
Right.
So if you can settle your financing,
right,
whatever, you sell your property, you somehow you strike a lottery, for example, you sell your property, whatever, some windfall comes along.
Yeah.
So we encourage you to settle your financing with us.
Right.
And in the event there's a need for another medical procedure to be covered, so you are eligible again.
Okay, it's fine. So just to recap a little bit what you were talking about. So if we went to a hospital and we needed a procedure, and for some strange reason that hospital is no longer in an insurance panel, and so you can meet that gap. You can meet that gap. And, for instance, they need a gastric procedure or something like that. Okay. And, it costs 20,000 ringgit. And so you can fill that gap. Now, so the person pays first. Literally, the person has to pay that 20,000 ringgit first and then make a claim to the insurance company later.
Correct.
Am I right?
That's right.
So let's say the insurance company pays the person back after 3 months. So how would that loan process work with you guys? So would it be a short-term loan for 3 months, 6 months, or a year?
We have a lock-in period of 6 months.
There's a lock-in period
of 6 months.
Right.
So the moment the person gets
the funds,
they can come and tell us, okay, we see the amount can be settled.
Okay.
Yeah, why not?
I see. So there's a huge gap there because obviously insurance companies are becoming very stringent with their rules, for hospitals. Yeah. That has made some hospitals, lose the panel.
True.
Panel for that.
Yeah, right. That's happening a lot.
Yes, absolutely. And, this is important so that people have access to healthcare and there's an equity to that healthcare. So sometimes they've got an insurance and they want to go to a certain hospital for a particular procedure, but, for some reason that hospital doesn't have the financing to do it,
It's also insurance. The other options that they have for medical is EPF or KWSP for certain designated procedures.
Right.
You can withdraw your EPF, but more often than not, you'll have to pay and claim. So that's where we come in. I
see. So you can pay and claim, but I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. Your process is probably faster than EPF to get the money, right?
Faster.
So if someone needs an emergency funding for an operation, the best bet is to speak to someone like you.
We have disbursed in 2 working days.
In 2 working days,
disbursement's done. So you come in pre-approval first day, documentation's done.
Right.
Next day, disbursement's done. Simple reason, we understand the need. We understand healthcare.
Yeah, it's emergency. And so, just to confirm, do you guys do knee replacement? No.
Everything.
You do knee replacement?
Yeah.
Everything.
Everything.
Wow.
For oncology,
You're right. Stage 1.
we cover diagnostics.
Diagnostics?
That's not cheap.
Right.
It can go up to $30,000
Okay.
just for diagnostics, right? So we cover that. Breast cancer, stage 1 and stage 2.
Right.
The rest for onco, we have not started
Not
covering yet.
Okay.
But otherwise, everything for medical.
Okay.
As long as it is in a KKM designated facility, we can do it.
Under KKM. Oh, okay. All right. Great. So, Emma,
Yes.
what kind of hospitals, the mindset of these hospitals when they call you, you're the relationship manager. So they call you, they have this conversation. What are they looking for the first thing?
First thing first, they wanted to know how can they help the patient to get the treatment.
Okay.
Of course, they want the patient to do the treatment
Right.
at their hospitals.
Right.
So when they got to know whether it's not covered by insurance or
Okay.
might be they do not have the money for this kind of treatment.
Right.
So they will suggest. So when they got to know about us, that's
Right.
when Amden comes in. So that's why they wanted to collab with us so they
Right.
can give the alternative
Yes.
to the patients.
Okay.
So they can do the treatment.
I see both of you guys on LinkedIn and sharing about your conversations with so many hospitals. How many hospitals are you part of? Are you panel of right now? How are you guys?
Currently about 80.
80.
Yes.
Oh, wait, when I first met you about a year ago, I think it's like a handful.
A handful.
handful.
80 facilities, 80 medical
80
facilities.
Yes. And still
growing.
Okay.
We just signed KMI Healthcare
KMI
yesterday.
Health. Okay.
Yesterday
Okay.
afternoon.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they've got, I don't know, five
hospitals?
Five hospitals.
Wow.
And there's another acquisition that was made early this year.
Right.
So that's another one in the pipeline. Quite a few. And fertility as well. Fertility is really, we know our fertility rates are dropping.
Okay. Malaysia.
That's global. That's
Right,
a
right.
global thing, right?
Right.
So fertility is really becoming much sought after procedure.
Okay. And so most of the doctors, do you work directly with the doctors or the hospital? What's the relationship like?
Both.
Okay.
Both.
We for bariatric surgery, we work very closely with Dr. Mustafa
Okay.
from Sanjal.
Right.
He's a very well-known surgeon in
Right.
Southeast Asia. For plastics, we work with certain surgeons, but more often than not, it goes through the hospital.
Okay.
Sometimes the surgeons say, we want to work with you, and
Okay.
then they will get the hospital to get in touch with us or get in touch with
Yes.
Emma.
Okay. And so where do you see this growing? Because you guys are first in Malaysia and first in Southeast Asia. Where do you see this growing? This I mean, not only the business, but the fact that this access to healthcare is opening up for people in a huge gap.
We're headed to Bali in February.
For a holiday.
No.
How I wish.
Oh my goodness, what? Yes. How I wish.
How we wish.
Okay.
There's not been actually we haven't had a break in a long time.
Okay.
It's been really relentless, but we're enjoying it very
Yes,
much.
we
Okay.
do. Yes.
We've been approached by parties from Indonesia
Right.
to set up the same thing as well.
Wow.
But Malaysia is tanah airku lah.
Yes. Yes.
Manvir,
Absolutely.
we love
No,
this
no.
country really
Yeah.
to
Right.
And the main thing, because right now for Amden Capital, the financing is available only for Malaysian.
Okay.
Yeah, working in Malaysia.
Working in Malaysia
Yeah.
and seeking healthcare here in Malaysia, right?
At the moment,
At the moment,
Yes.
yes.
But you're gonna open up slowly.
We are opening up. We are also doing outbound medical tourism very soon.
Okay.
Uh,
Can you say what that is? Outbound medical tourism.
so, if let's say you want to do a procedure, perhaps in Korea,
Okay.
right?
Right.
Certain procedures are not done here.
Right.
So you want to do it in Korea.
Right.
You want to do it in Thailand, or for wellness. We are going into the wellness
Okay.
financing business very soon. You want to go and you want to go in detox, say in Thailand. You want to detox in Bali.
Right.
It's something that we are looking at.
Okay.
So that's outbound as well.
Oh.
So we're giving options to people.
Right. So you are going to be working with those healthcare facilities then for
Yeah,
this one?
we've been
Wow.
approached, so we're just putting things on hold.
Right. Yeah,
While
of course.
we try and clear a bit of the backlog we have down here.
Right.
But yeah, we have been approached, so we would like to look at that options as well.
So Emma, you've been with the company from the start as well.
From the start.
From the start. Right.
Interesting. That is a very interesting question, Manvir.
Okay.
So, should I explain or should
Yes,
you
please,
explain?
please.
Go ahead.
Okay. So, for medical financing, Amden Capital only 4 years old
4 years.
since 2020.
Right.
But Amden Capital has been established since 2004
Okay.
doing the consumer financing.
Right.
So for myself, actually, I 2 days back, I just celebrated my 1.5 year with Amden Capital.
1.5 years. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So I
Right.
just quite new, but still the journey, the excitement,
Right.
and the opportunity to grow.
Right.
Knowing that what we can provide to
Right.
the clients
Yeah.
is amazing. So looking forward to grow more and see what else we can provide. So that's why we wanted to go outbound.
Right. Do you guys have a ballpark figure of how many people have taken these loans or this financing? Do you have a ballpark figure?
More than 300.
More than 300
More
over
than
the past
300
couple of
over the
years.
past, we actually started this smack in COVID.
Wow. That's
so,
tough.
So no, it wasn't tough. It was actually a good thing for us.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it gave us time to look at things.
Right.
We have other businesses as well. Consumer financing is
Sure.
a different
Right.
institution which was ongoing.
Right.
So it was a good thing we started this smack in COVID.
Sure.
Gave us time. So about 2.5 years, we did a lot of groundwork.
Right.
From mid 22
Right.
is when we actually started dispersing
Okay.
a lot of where it took off.
Right.
And from then till now, it's about 300
300.
and
So
growing.
so
Very
300
rapidly.
and very rapidly, because you've got 80 facilities already that across Malaysia. So can people in East Malaysia, are there any facilities there yet that are partnered with you guys? Not yet.
Sabah, we have been approached.
Okay,
by
you've been
one-
approached already.
Yeah,
Okay.
so
Okay.
it's a fertility setup, but we do not have the resources to go there yet.
Okay.
Mainly the people.
Okay.
So ours is a very relationship-based
Sure.
business.
Of course. Yeah.
We don't, like as mentioned earlier, Manvir, we don't want to treat you like an account number.
Right.
No, you are not Mr. Manvir. You are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Right. Right.
It is not how we are.
Right.
We are very touch-feel kind of people. We want to know your stories. We want to know your issues.
Right.
And so we need to have the right people on board with us.
Okay.
And that takes time.
That
to
takes
build,
some time.
right?
Yeah.
We have had clients from Sarawak come down here for procedures and
Okay, they've come
so,
here.
yeah.
Okay. And so just to recap, right, and ensure that the people who are watching this right now and listening to this right now are totally aware of it. So you guys do follow the financial regulations that talk about financing,
very
right?
tightly.
Yeah.
It's responsible lending.
Right.
So we always look at your scores, your credit
The
scores.
CETOS scores
Your
and
CETOS score is a guideline.
Right.
We've got 16 touch points.
Okay.
If you're a responsible client or
Right.
you're a responsible individual with your finances,
Right.
and we don't see an issue of giving you financing.
Okay. And like you said, most of the people are M40s and
And above,
T20s.
yeah.
The T20s, obviously people would assume that they can afford this. But whether they want to spend that cash.
Actually, that's
Okay.
far from reality.
Okay.
See, the M40 and the T5s are
Yes.
quite comfortable,
Right.
right? So you're talking about the T6 to the T20
Right.
and the M40 mid-tier.
Right.
This is what I would classify as a sandwich segment.
Okay.
Okay? The B40s are taken care of
Right.
by the government.
Yeah.
They get a lot of benefits.
Sure.
The government is good. Our government is good, the public hospitals are really good.
Absolutely, yes, yeah.
So the B40s are taken care of
Right,
with these added benefits.
right,
The M40s do not receive these benefits.
sure.
And the T6 to the T20 as
Right,
well.
okay,
And also they are used to a certain lifestyle. They want to get the
Absolutely.
treatment. They work hard.
right.
So deservingly so, they work hard for it. They feel that they want to give certain quality lifestyle, quality treatments for them and their families.
Absolutely,
Right?
yeah,
So this is a segment that comes to us.
okay, right,
So when we look at, on paper, you're earning 30,000 ringgit.
right,
You're supposed to be okay.
yes,
But when we look at the supporting documents, that's not what we see.
yeah. Obviously, I think a lot of people that we know who probably earn that kind of money have 2-3 houses and 5-6 cars and
Commitments.
Yeah, they've got commitments,
Yeah.
right? They've got commitments, so they are cash. In fact, if they needed 20,000 ringgit cash, they probably wouldn't have it because even though they're earning 30,000 ringgit, they wouldn't have $20,000 cash.
Yeah.
You know, paying off all these loans and so on.
Loans, and
commitments.
also they've put into their insurance schemes, etc.
Yes,
Right, so
absolutely.
they can't withdraw it as fast.
Right.
So and they do not want to as well, because a lot of this insurance is taken for a very, very good reason.
Right.
For the child's education fund
Sure,
for
sure.
future. So
Right.
I think a lot of them have got that in mind.
Okay.
That money is for my child.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
this is for my treatment.
Right.
I want to have a different option.
Okay.
That is where we come in.
So your interest rates, because I'm sure a lot of people who are watching this right now are going to ask, what are the interest rates? How high it is? How low is it? So can you give us some idea of what it is like, the interest rates for these
if-
loans?
If a client were to use their credit cards issued by banks,
Right.
you would pay anywhere between 18 to 24% per
Okay.
annum.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
That's quite
we
clear.
cap ours. We can go as low as 9.9. We cap it at 18.
Oh, you cap it at 18.
cap it
So
at-
depending on the risk factor
Yeah.
here, right?
Yes.
So we cap at 18. We don't go anything above that.
So you don't go into the territory of credit cards.
No, we don't.
You don't.
We don't.
You're lower than
And
that.
there's no all these added penalties, etc.
Oh, you don't have that,
There's
right.
when you do it. I've never used my credit card for cash withdrawal before.
Right. Yes.
So I
yes.
have cards for my
Yeah.
insurance payment,
Sure.
but I've never used credit cards for my cash withdrawal. So, but
Yeah.
I'm told it's
That's right, it's right.
3% or whatever.
Yeah.
So we don't do that.
Okay.
We don't put in this added charges into it.
Okay.
And our rates are fixed. So
Your rates are fixed.
So you are comfortable knowing
Right.
that there's no fluctuation in rates.
Right.
And we do not take collateral.
Oh, you do not take any absolutely no collateral, right? So someone wants a loan, so the hospital recommends him and says bariatric surgery very necessary and costs X amount, and they come and speak to you, and you fix the rate for them, and you say, okay, this is what your capacity is to pay.
Yeah.
That's the rate. And
So as per contract, this is the contract, these are the rates, and this is what you're paying for the rest of the tenure.
yeah.
No fluctuations.
Which is very clear, because I mean even housing loans today have a fluctuation to it, and
Correct.
obviously credit card does, depending on how much you spend. But this is very good. So where do you feel the growth of this industry is for you?
I think it's a blue ocean for us.
Okay.
With more and more, with the insurance industry being in the issue with insurance right now, right?
Right.
It's a very hot topic. We saw premiums go up by 25% to 35% in 24.
Right.
We've read reports in the media saying it's going to go up between 40 to 70.
70%.
But
yeah.
we reckon it'll be between 25 to 40% increase.
Again.
Again,
So
in
you're going
25.
to see over a span of 2 years it going up 50+%,
Correct.
which is a lot.
Correct.
Which is a lot.
I think the reports is saying 40 to 70 is a bit
It's-
high.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think Bank Negara is doing their level best.
Right.
Bank Negara needs to manage the insurance industry and
Right.
also public expectations. So they're doing a fantastic job, Manvir.
Yeah.
It's not an enviable position to be in,
Right.
but the central bank is doing a very, very good job in managing it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think when we will be addressing this insurance issue in a future podcast and a podcast here, but it's definitely something that's extremely alarming for people, and making them fearful. And I think the more people that give up their insurance because they can't afford it, that's ridiculous,
It's happening right now.
Yeah, it's absolutely.
And you're not talking about the M40 lower tier.
Yeah.
You're talking about the M40 upper tier.
Right.
And the T6 to the T20.
Yes, absolutely. And it's very, it's very disturbing that 40% or 50% over the past 2 years. If you're paying 1,000 ringgit now, suddenly it's a substantial amount.
So you look at this has been going on for the last few years, not
Right.
just this year. Or
Yeah.
The last few years, the gradual increment in premiums, right? It's been going on for the last few years.
Yes, yeah.
We've seen that. Also, I think the reason this is happening is several reasons, Manvir. You look at medical inflation,
Sure.
double digit,
Right.
right? So that's the reason the insurance companies need to cope.
Right. Yeah.
So, and then the hospitals are also dealing with this. Equipment has gotten so expensive.
Yep.
And to give the best treatment, they have to really buy good equipment. And it's not cheap.
It's not cheap. It's not cheap.
One machine can cost you 10, 15 million.
Right.
And the public doesn't understand or doesn't know this.
Right.
So it's timely that the public is also made aware of what's happening.
Absolutely. And
Our people can really understand if things are explained in a
of course, yes,
manner.
they can. And I think
that's what you're doing.
That's what we were
Amazing what
trying
you're
to do.
doing.
We were trying to do is unpack it, so that people are able to understand it a little bit better. Well, thank you so much for being here, Ranjit and Emma from Amden Capital.
Pleasure is mine.
Yeah,
Pleasure.
to be able to share not only the fact that you have figured out a gap, but this is a gap that helps people. It really benefits people. I know, as both of you all have seen the stories, the lives that are impacted by this is extremely important because there is no perfect scenario, but sometimes these options are available. And I first of all, I congratulate you guys on figuring out there was a niche to go for, and you're able to help people. And I'm sure that there are so many people who are extremely thankful that you are there for them to bail them out, so to speak. At that point, yes.
It is really we go to bed feeling contented.
Okay.
Yes.
Really, that we have helped someone today.
Okay.
We helped somebody's child, someone's parent. We helped someone. We saved a life, so to speak. Because for as good as our public hospitals are,
Yeah.
you look at the numbers,
Right.
it's staggering.
Yeah, absolutely.
I
it
think
is, yeah.
they are really coping with a lot.
Sure.
Yet, you look at the support staff at public hospitals, the doctors, when they see you, they still smile.
Yeah.
Despite seeing a few hundred patients a day,
Yeah,
they can
it
still
is.
smile. Amazing people.
They are amazing.
Amazing.
We've got amazing people, and you two are as well. Helping them out here.
Yeah.
Thank you very much once again.
Thank you.
Thank you, Manvir.
That's it for this edition of Healthcare Simplified with Manvir Victor. We're available on YouTube, TikTok. Just hit the subscribe button somewhere there. You'll see it. And join us as we continue, or at least on a weekly basis for now, to start to unpack some of these healthcare options that are available to you, to shed some light on it. And if you've got any thoughts, ideas, comments, suggestions, whatever, just DM us and we would love that. Absolutely. Thank you very much for being a part of this with Vital Signs. Healthcare Simplified with Manvir Victor, signing off. Cheers. Bye.